To continue the discussion, balik tayo dun sa cost concepts for decision making. So meron pa tayo mga additional na cost dito. So we have the direct, indirect, and overhead. So si direct, these are the costs that can be reasonably measured and allocated to a specific output or work activity. So ang common example dito is the labor and material cost directly associated with the product, service, or construction activity. So pagdating dito kay direct cost, ito mainly yung mga kailangan natin in order to produce a product and service. Say, kung bakery yan, so magkano yung ipapasahod mo dun sa tao na magbabantay or magbibake, and then magkano yung magagastos mo para dun sa mga ingredients. So yun yung mga tinatawag nating direct cost. Now pagdating naman kay indirect cost, so actually medyo similar sila kay overhead. So etong dalawang ito are often used interchangeably, no? Pagdating kay indirect cost, ito yung mga difficult to allocate to specific output or work activity. So kabaliktaran siya ng direct, no? Kasi dito alam natin para kanino talaga yung specific cost na nag-occur. So, magkano yung ginastos mo dun sa materials. So, that's direct. Alam mo saan siya napunta. Pero dito kasi kay indirect, so, mahirap ma-pinpoint saan siya nagastos. So, mainly kasi, si indirect cost is a broad accounting term na nag-describe dun sa expenses that support multiple activities, multiple products, or multiple services at the same time. While si overhead naman, to differentiate with the indirect costs, so it consists of plant operating costs that are not direct labor or direct material costs. Pero, kung isipin natin, no? So sabi, indirect and overhead are often used interchangeably. Pero to be exact, si overhead is a subset of indirect costs. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng overhead costs is pasok kay indirect costs. Pero hindi lahat ng indirect costs ay overhead. Kumbaga, generic term sa indirect and then part lang siya or subset lang ng indirect cost si overhead. So dito, ang common example is the electricity, general repairs, property taxes, and supervision. Next, we have standard cost, book cost, and sunk cost. So standard cost are planned cost per unit of output that are established in advance of actual production or service delivery. So they are developed from anticipated direct labor hours, materials, and overhead categories with their established cost per unit. In short, ito yung mga predetermined or yung ini-estimate, fino-forecast natin na cost of manufacturing a product or performing a service. Basically, kumbaga magkano yung ibabudget mo per unit. So, yun yung standard cost natin. Si book cost naman are costs that do not involve cash payments but rather represent the recovery of past expenditure over a fixed period of time. The most common example of book cost is the depreciation charge for the use of assets such as plant and equipment. In finance and accounting, so itong si book cost, tinatawag din siya actually na book value or carrying value. So carrying value in a sense, for example, kapag equipment ang pinag-uusapan, no? So ang book value or carrying value ng isang equipment is the original cost minus the accumulated na depreciation. Now, when we say depreciation, ito yung kumbaga pagbaba ng value ng isang equipment habang naluluma siya. For example, bumili ka ng sasakyan worth 1 million. So, syempre, habang ginagamit mo siya, nababawasan yung pinaka-value niya. Until dumating yung time, let's say, binili mo year 2026, 1 million peso. After 5 years, let's say sabihin mo, yung kotse na yun is worth 600,000 na lang. So, yung nabawas na 400,000, basically, yun yung tinatawag nating depreciation. So, book cost, basically, ito yung carrying value ng isang product or let's say isang equipment or anything. That's the carrying value. Now, pagdating dito naman kay sunk cost, it is one that has occurred in the past and has no relevance to estimates or future costs and revenues related to an alternative course of action. Thus, a sunk cost is a common to all alternative, is not part of the future or the prospective cash flows, and can be disregarded in an engineering economic analysis. To summarize its definition, si sunk cost basically, ito ay yung mga costs na na-incur mo na as a business owner. Basically, nagastusan mo na siya and wala kang way to recover it by any present or future choice. So, kaya ang ginagawa dito, so sabi dyan, hindi na siya part ng future na cash flows. So, somewhat, pwede mong isipin na kumbaga ito yung hindi naman siya direct na pwede natin sabihin na parang nalugi na part, no? Pero somewhat, parang ganun yung dating niya. So, ano ba ang example ng sunk cost? Let's say, nagbibenta ka ng pagkain. Since na-example naman natin kanina, so balik na lang tayo sa bakery business. For example, nagbibenta ka ng tinapay. So, say yung tinapay na yun, binibenta mo ng 10 pesos isa. And then, in order to make it, it costs you 5 pesos. So, ang puhunan kada piraso, 5, binibenta mo siya ng 10. So, ngayon, parang ang minamarket mo, freshly baked lahat ng tinda mo dun sa bakery. So, ibig sabihin, hindi mo siya pwedeng, yung mga hindi mo nabenta today, hindi mo na ibibenta kinabukasan. For example, pasarado ka na, meron pang natirang tinapay na hindi nabenta. So, basically, yung cost to produce yung natirang tinapay na yun, hindi na yun mababalik regardless kung mabenta man siya or hindi within that day. That's an example of sunk cost. So, hindi mo na marirecover yung ginamit mo to produce that product regardless of what happens in the future. So, meron tayong tinatawag actually na sunk cost fallacy, no? So, for example, dun sa case na yun, ang pwede mo kasing gawin, so kung 10 pesos na siya, tapos hindi mo naman siya mabibenta bukas, so pwede mong babaan yung presyo. So, instead of 10 pesos each, so pwede mong discountan, kasi sabihin mo na lang 5 pesos din, or even 4 pesos. So, it's better than losing yung lahat ng ginastos mo. So, it may appear na, so, kumbaga ginawa mo yung tinapay, 5 pesos each, tapos ibibenta mo ng mas mura. So, yun yung iniisip ng iba na parang malulugi ka. Pero, somehow, kung ibibenta mo man siya ng discounted price, so kahit 2 pesos or 3 pesos isa, kahit pa paano, meron kang marirecover na konti. Unlike kapag i-remain mo siya na 10 pesos isa, tapos hindi naman mabibenta. So, completely zero yung marirecover mo within the cost ng natirang tinapay. So, that's an example lang ng sunk cost. Next. So, opportunity cost is incurred because the use of limited resources such that the opportunity to use those resources to monetary advantage in an alternative use is foregone. Thus, it is the cost of the best rejected that is foregone opportunity and is often hidden or implied. So, to better understand this, so meron naman tayong example dito, no? So, you consider a student who could earn $20,000 for working during a year, but chooses instead to go to school for a year and spend $5,000 to do so. So, yung opportunity cost dito of going to school for that year is 25,000. So, paano nangyari yon? So, dito kasi, meron tayong assumption, no? So, 5,000 cash outlay and 20,000 for the income foregone, yun yung pinagsama para maging 25,000. So, ang assumption natin dito, habang nag-aaral yung student, so wala siyang capability to earn anything. So, tinawag siyang opportunity cost. So, instead of working, nag-aral siya. So, yung kikitain niya sana doon sa pagtatrabaho, that's a foregone or kumbaga, nawala na cost na pwede na sanang ma-earn. So, basically, yun yung nangyari kay opportunity cost. So, it also applies pagdating kay alternative. For example, merong advantage alternative 1, meron ding advantage si alternative 2. So let's say pinili mo si alternative 2. So kung ano man yung pwede mo sanang ma-earn dun sa alternative 1, lahat ng ma-earn mo sana possibly doon na nireject mo, basically, mapupunta siya kay opportunity cost. So sabi naman dyan, opportunity cost is often hidden or implied. So hindi naman siya mag-a-appear on actual dun sa ating economic analysis, pero i-consider pa rin natin siya since it is an opportunity na nawala. Depende dun sa kung anong pipiliin nating decision or alternative. Next, we have the life cycle cost. So refers to a summation of all the costs related to a product, structure, system, or service during its lifespan. So because of their common use, however, several basic life cycle cost categories will now be defined. So sa life cycle, from its name, so ito lahat nung pwede mo magastos sa kabuuan na lifespan ng isang product. So una dyan is investment cost. It is the capital required for most of the activities in the acquisition phase. So ito yung tinatawag din nating capital investment. So para hindi na tayo humaba, no? So investment cost, ito yung ipupuhunan mo in order to acquire something. So that's the investment cost. So kung magtatayo ka ng business, so magkano yung i-invest mo, ipupuhunan mo para mapatayo yung business na yun. So that's investment cost. Another type of life cycle cost, meron tayong operation and maintenance cost. So while nag-work na or in business na, so undergoing na yung operations mo, so syempre meron kang mga operation and maintenance costs. So nandiyan yung mga annual expense items associated with the operation phase of the life cycle, the direct and indirect costs of operation associated with the 5 primary resource areas, so people, machine, materials, energy, and information. So these are the operation and maintenance costs. And then disposal costs includes those non-recurring costs of shutting down the operation and the retirement and disposal of assets at the end of the life cycle. So kung natapos na, or let's say shutdown mo na yung operation ng business mo, so ano yung mga pwede mong magastos. So dito sa atin actually, for example sa isang business, pag let's say, hindi naman siya na-bankrupt, no? Pero kung gusto mo nang i-close yung isang business, so kailangan mo pa actually mag-process ng permit. So, ang tawag sa permit nun kay BIR ay Certificate of Business Closure. So, syempre, kung ano yung mga magagastos mo to process those permits, so pwede mo siyang isama dito kay disposal cost. Pero dito kasi, ang ginamit na example is, say dito, associated with cleaning up a site where a chemical processing plant had been located. So, chemical processing siya. So, hindi mo naman siya pwedeng iwanan ng basta-basta. So, marami ka pang kailangang ayusin in order, for example, para hindi siya maka-apekto dun sa environment since chemical processing plant siya. So, lahat ng magagastos mo in that process will fall under the disposal cost. Next, we have the present economic studies. So not all engineering economy problems involve interest or the time value of money. When the alternatives are evaluated without considering the effect of interest, the analysis is commonly referred to as present economy problem. So these problems typically involve selecting the most economical option among alternatives with similar time periods and comparable economic conditions. So the comparison focus mainly on the current costs, quantities, and performance of each alternative. So this is another variant or another type ng study or problem dito kay engineering econ. So kung hindi mo naman concern yung mga future like ano yung mga interest na magigain or gaano kalaki yung pagbabago dun sa pinaka-value ng money mo, ang tawag natin dun is present economic problem. So dito ang pinag-usapan mo lang is yung current basically. So current cost, current quantity, current performance. So that's the present economic studies. So we're only focused on what is available now. Say, Meron naman tayong example dito, no? So, basahin ko na lang. So, common applications include alternative designs. Selecting design with the lowest cost while meeting the required performance and safety standards. So, dito, ang pinag-usapan lang is yung present. So, meron kang design 1, meron kang design 2. So, titimbangin mo lang ano yung mas okay sa kanila at the present. Pero hindi mo titingnan ano yung magiging implications nila in the future. So, another is alternative materials, alternative construction methods, and alternative equipment. So, almost similar lang naman sila, no? Pero just to sum it up, so basically, we're only focusing on the current value ng mga ito. So, for example, ito, construction method. So, hindi mo naman titingnan basically yung mga future cost niya. So, ano lang yung mga method. So, basically, based on labor, equipment, o material na gagamitin. So, ano ba yung mas okay gamitin? So, alternative 1 ba or C? Alternative 2. Same with the equipment. Say, ano ba yung mas okay? Say, we're talking about brand. So, brand X and brand Y. So, ano yung mas okay na gamitin na equipment? So, yun lang yung pinaka-concern natin. So, dito meron tayong sa mga sample problems, no? Pero before that, the basic objective is to identify the alternative that provides the required function at the lowest present cost or the greatest economic present benefit. So, yun yung present economic studies. So, with this one, meron tayong dalawang sample problems. Pero, para hindi masyado mahaba yung video, isi-separate ko na lang ulit yung dalawang sample problem na ito.